Welcome everyone to the Lotus Sanctum. My name is Chris, and so message, in this little message, it's a well, one, it's a timeless message, and I am tapping into Goddess and to see what message that she would like to communicate with you guys. So what we're gonna talk about in this little space is speaking about having the courage to speak about the dreams that you have, the desires you have, what you see for your foreseeable future, um, how you want to do things, and you know that things are gonna work out. Having the courage to believe in what is possible. Now, it takes quite a bit of courage to be able to communicate what you want, and from this little space, it's about learning how to draw boundaries. Drawing boundaries and um, being able to discern what is yours and what is not yours. What is a perceived um, ideation or perception of another individual versus what is your perceived perception of your own self and of what's happening around you, and learning how to tell the story that wants to be told and experienced in your body. And so these little aspects come in places of your dreams, of desires, of inspirations, of aspirations, um, of this playfulness, of wanting to create, of wanting to um, be free. It's in the internal freedom and the abundant flow of expression, of self expression, that you get to be the most authentic version of you and the most healthiest version of you that has ever walked on this earth. At each stage of your life, there is a healthy aspect and an unhealthy aspect, and each one builds off of the other. You are not building off of something completely new. No. You're not destroying what already has existed. No. It is coming from a place of knowing that you want to still take what you have learned because, well, when you thought that was the way to go about things, and create something else in its place. So you're removing it and you're replacing it with something that feels that much more um, palpable, that much more digestible. Like it enlivens your sensory, uh, yeah, it enlivens your senses and allows you to be that much more expressive, that much more grounded in your body, in your being, and wanting to live, and actually having the capacity to live through what is here, and acknowledging what can be created and how to create. Um, Sometimes there are things that you may receive that are just so abundant, and it has went above and beyond what you had anticipated, what you had thought was possible. It has all the components of what you were asking for, and some more. And then there's some. So, um, how do you have the capacity to not psych yourself out with what has showed up, and having the capacity to live through it, how to indulge in it, how to ease into it, how to learn to adapt and regulate your nervous system to be okay in this new space, for you to be okay with what has been created, what has been given to you because you are worthy, and for you to build off of this, not to destroy it, not to revert back to what you think you're worthy of, but to genuinely understand that, oh, okay, oh, look, I have insecurities. Can I sit with that? Can I look at it? Can I also remember, yes, there is this experience, and also can I remember what it is that I genuinely want to experience in this moment, in this time, with all these gifts that I do have? Is there also space and room for my abundance, for my gratitude for what is possible? Can I also learn how to navigate through something because I didn't know that I needed that skill right now? I thought I would need it later on, but it looks like I need it now. So, what can I do to have the skills that I need to be able to sustain what has and is presenting itself? At the end of the day, the things that we like are things that we want to stay for a long while and marvel at what's beautiful and what's pleasant in it, and to create magic from it. Um, and sometimes there's things that have showed up already that they were great, but it looks like it's meant to change. Doesn't mean it needs to be completely destroyed and um no, it doesn't need to be completely destroyed, but there are certain components of it that's not sustainable for its longevity. And so having the capacity to move through it and to build something that allows it to be a sustainable place, for it to still be a part of your life, because you do want to continue experiencing it, you do want to continue expanding in it, you do want to continue building off of it. Um, and at the same time, certain things that we want to happen, it might be, there just might be something that's happening that kind of blocks it from coming in, coming through. And so, what is needed for you to fully embody what you genuinely want, and to remove the block that is holding the flood back, right? That's holding the floodgates back. What can allow for the momentum and the overflow to genuinely move through you, and for you to be sustained in it? For you to know that when receiving it, when having it, that there's nothing wrong, and that yes, there may be things that you do that just aren't great, but it's okay for you to still show up there. It's okay for you to still want it. It's okay for um, that thing to also feel like it's not welcome, or it's not exactly what it wants. Um, because there is this little rhythm for both, where it does simultaneously exist and where it wants to co-create, where it's where they both meet and they're like, okay, we're gonna create together because we both enjoy being in this presence, and we want to see what's gonna bloom out of this. Um, but it does come from a place of a mutual, reciprocal flow. Um, and this mutual reciprocal flow does not hold space for shame and guilt. At the same time, it acknowledges shame and guilt does come through. And what it asks is for this to be transmuted, for it to not have the hold that it does, and for it to be moved, for it to tell a different story. Um, and so leaning into the pleasure of what already was created and allowing yourself to be curious to see what can be created, but not anticipating to recreate what already had been done. So stepping in with a new creation, a new possible creation that exists in this space, in this environment. And allowing for the discomforts to be welcomed in so they can give you more clarity as to what is possible and what is truly wanting to be experienced, to give you so what you do not like, and the disruption and the eruption of emotions. um it's to give you clarity on what is there and to show you what you can create, what you do want to experience, how you do want to express yourself, how you are showing up, how you do want to show up differently, um, how you want your environment to move in rhythmic flow in your space, and also to listen to the rhythm that is already being conducted. Oh wow, okay. And so what this allows to happen is the full expression of your longings, of what you have longed for the long, what you have longed for ages, and for your ability to communicate, um, and experience and navigate through why this thing has been a longing and how to have it be an experience you get to live in the full authentic expression of what it is, and to relieve the shame and the guilt around it, and to lean into the beauty of it. Can be quite challenging to live in that space, um, of trying to understand when and why you have worked through something that already was fluid, and coming to see that it's no longer having to be a place of shame and guilt. So it's also this environment telling you that it doesn't want to live in fear, shame, and guilt, and that it wants to, this longing wants to be appreciated, wants to be adored. Yeah, wants to be adored and adorned, and wants to be worthy to live. a worthiness to genuinely live out the full spectrum of what is wanting to be expressed, and to know that there is always room for life to keep unfolding, and there is going to be new things after this longing has been satisfied. After this, there's so many other things that could be created. There's inspirations that you will have. Um, there's space and room for you and for everything that wants to live through you. And it's having the capacity to create that. But that's also having to acknowledge the longings that once were. Sometimes it's necessary for you to say, okay, it's done, and then other times um it's just knowing that, oh my gosh, brain, come on, words, come on. Um, so it's knowing that, dang it. Okay, so it's knowing that the stories can live on, and even those longings, they begin to change. And it's going to be a bit of a journey to let go of it, from not having it to having it, and then realizing, oh, it's ready to change. It's ready to be something else that it hasn't been so far. And so to give it space for it to exist, give it space for it to bloom and blossom. I don't know where you are in your journey and which aspects that you're living through, but having the courage to live through the experience that wants to be expressed through you is something highly magical. So give yourself the grace to go through what needs to be and to express what wants to come out. So I'm going to be leaving the message here. Um, and also, just because something is wanting to change, it doesn't mean that it isn't true. And that it doesn't mean that it wasn't something that you wanted. It's just that it's time for it to change. It wants to change as much as something else wants to come into you. So give yourself that space and that freedom. Allow yourself to lean into it. So now, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving the message here, and I wish you guys all the best, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.